So I'm down here in the banjo shop today, which is a huge mess and which I need to clean up, but I'm not getting around to doing it much. I have a couple of banjos that I'd like to play. One of them, sort of at the top of my list, is this Stromberg Cuppophone, which is quite a nice banjo. I don't think they call this a Cuppophone. I think they call this as a Charles A. Sons. This says drums, harps, and musical instruments. So this doesn't call itself a Cuppophone, but it is one because you can tell by these little bells in the back. I'm looking at this piece here. Now this, you see this piece of wood, how this ends out here about 3/16 of an inch. I'm wondering if this wood goes all the way down in there, because I'm measuring banjo neck sticks out of several banjos I've got around here. Most of them are about a 1/4 of an inch shorter than this space between the rim of the banjo where the banjo head would sit and here. This comes out at 11 inches, and on, say, that banjo, it comes out about 10 and a half or 10 and a quarter. But I'm wondering if the stick out of that one would slip into this little nickel-plated brass holder here and make that work. What I would like to be able to do is to take a banjo neck and take this one off and put a different banjo neck on here without cutting or changing any wood. For one thing, this is a 4-string neck, but it's a beautiful neck, and it's a beautiful banjo, and the neck and the banjo all go together. But you can tell if you look at the inlay. I'm going to turn this so you can see. If you can get focused on that inlay, you can see that that's really, really beautifully done. Let's look up here. That is not something I want to mess up. Now I've got other necks. This one is a takeoff from like a Chinese banjo. This one is one that I ordered that's it's kind of a banjo neck blank with frets and a board on it. One option I could do is to put a 5th string shelf on this neck, but that would kind of damage this neck. I've got good banjos here, but not as valuable as that one. And this is a good example right here. This, when it says Victor, I think this is a what does it say? This is probably an SS Stewart. No, this is the Dobson. This is the Dobson Victor. It's a nice neck. It's a nice banjo. It isn't as nice as this Stromberg, but it may be that I could take this neck off and slip it onto this one here without having to damage it or the banjo here. Now, that is really decent right there. It's got some pressed in trademarks here. So from the outside of that to there is like 10 and 3/4. This is 11, but it may be that part of that is used up by this. Now I would have to trim this stick down to get it to go into that, but that may be an option. Although I may have another banjo, because see, this banjo has some value, and having this correct neck on there matters. That's the patent number, trademark patent number. Yeah. So I may not want to mess with this neck. So I'm just kind of in that selection process of trying to figure out which is the best way to go with what I have to work with here. Let's put this back. Let's put this one. This I believe I said this was a Dobson. Let's put the Dobson back up here before I do damage to it. Ooh, I've got one over here with a pretty nice neck, but it's a pretty average pot. It looks better than it actually is. Yeah, it looks like a good pot with some good hardware on it, but it's really nothing special. It's a maple pot. It's made out of pieces. See this, anytime you see a thick pot like that, and you can see where this has been pieced together. So there's a lot of pieces of maple stuck together. But this stick looks about the right size to fit in that, and it is. I measure it up to there to here. It's 10. This one is 11. I could put a stick extension. I have made extensions for these before. That's actually 10 1/4. I'd like to see, kind of like to have that neck, because this is a nice neck on its own. It's not a fabulous neck, but it'd be a good player. About the right size. Plus, it's already got a fifth string fret. What do you call that thing? I'm trying to think what you call that little fifth string fret, slidable fifth string fret thing. That's a decent one. Another decent one is on this old, I believe this is one of those old Montgomery Ward banjos, Supertone. This one is a Supertone, but it's got a pretty decent neck. Not fabulous, but still good. And it measures 10 1/2. Now 10 1/2 might go right down in this stick and work. So let's look at this from here to the edge of the pot. I see about 1 1/4 inches, and from here to the edge of the pot, it looks like about 1 1/4 inches. It almost looks like that might come close, although you've got this one much. It's like, that's about 3/4 inches. That's about 1.5 inches. So that's not good. This one here is about 1.5 inches, so this one would work. So many factors to be looked at here. Yeah. See, I don't want to use any of these with the metal stick in the back, because that wouldn't. I'd have to drill a hole in this to do that. I don't want that. I don't want to be drilling holes in my good pot. This may be my best alternative, and this isn't a really fabulous neck, even though it is a pretty good looking neck. Maybe I'll pop this one off, just see what it takes to get it to work in there, and pop that one off, and then I'll have the two to kind of study on. Now here's another option I ran across. This stick here is off of a Fairbanks. I believe that says Fairbanks. Yep, Fairbanks Banjo, the Vega company. So this is off of Fairbanks that came out after Vega bought out the Fairbanks factory after the factory burned down in, was it 1905, I think. But this stick, it's about the right size and it's about the right length. See, it comes to right in here and then it's got this much sticking out. I don't know what I might could do is take, say, this neck, take these metal screws out of it, and then put this stick into that neck. I used to have a big horizontal drill set up to drill a hole like that, and I don't have it anymore. But that stick would work. This neck here, the way the pot is made, this stick, you see how this neck comes out and it has a little indentation. That little indentation is for this part of the banjo pot. This one doesn't have that. This has a different, would have had a pot with a different kind of thing on it there. I wonder how good how successful I could be at setting up something maybe on my drill press to drill this with without messing it up too bad. It's pretty hard to drill one of those if you're holding a drill and trying to drill it by hand. That might be the best way to go, because that actually is a good stick. I'm not sure why it has this tape on it. I think it might be cracked. I was probably trying to put, yeah, I see a crack here, I think. I was probably trying to put this onto a banjo neck with a little bit of too big of a hole. Let's take the neck off this Stromberg. Let's take the neck off this Stromberg so that we can see what we got, and that's going to mean this neck is going to need some work.